Hey boyos, just gonna do a video on Looksmaxxing and how I plan to ascend. Now, I had some chicken and broccoli a while ago, and I've been smoking a lot, so I'm a little out of breath since I ate, and I don't know why. Probably I ate too much fucking chicken, but probably close to a 1 kg of chicken, uh, and then took the bones out, of course. So, Looksmaxxing and how I plan to ascend. My opinion or thoughts on Looksmaxxing is, you know, it's generally a good thing because it promotes a healthy lifestyle, you know, eating a healthy diet, lifting weights, exercising, all that good stuff, right? So, overall, it's a good thing. Now, obviously, with any given thing that people pursue, there's always people at each extreme, right? There's the people that, they either just don't take it very serious, which is fine. But then the other extreme is people doing really dangerous procedures like bone smashing. And obviously, they're probably going to end up fracturing bones when they tap on their face with a hammer because they probably want results now. So they get a little zealous with the hammer and or whatever hard object they're using and probably end up cracking bones. So, to me, bone smashing is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I'm not a bone smasher. I typically fall in the normal range of a look smaxer. And, there's always extremes, like I said, with anything people pursue. There's always people at one extreme or the other. Same as with something like diet or nutrition. You got people at one extreme. They think their diet has to be immaculate, where all their calories come from good, clean food. They have to have the perfect ratio of carbs, proteins, and fats. They have to get at least 100% of their daily value or recommended amount of vitamin C, calcium, and all that stuff. And then you have the people on the other extreme that believe the whole thing is a government conspiracy and it doesn't matter if you eat a donut or a steak, that it does the same thing in your body. And with that, I also fall in the pretty normal range. I'm not at one extreme or the other, but I have known people that were one extreme or the other. And like I said, any given pursuit that people will do, there's always individuals that fall on one extreme or the other. So, my thoughts on looks maxing, like I said, it's generally healthy. It's a healthy lifestyle. It's promoting a healthy lifestyle where, eat a proper diet, get proper nutrition, exercise, and work out regularly. It's just a fitness lifestyle for the most part. Because obviously, 80 to 90% for most people for looks maxing is lose weight, get in shape, right? And the other 10 to 20% is generally things like get a tan, get a good haircut, style your beard, or go no beard or stubble, practice moisturizing and cleansing your face, practicing proper hygiene, style maxing, stuff like that. But for the most part, if you are lean and muscular, you're going to have a higher rating on a looks maxing scale than anyone, except for, the elite who are a normal body weight or body fat percentage that just have top tier genetics for how their face looks. And obviously, other looks maxers or people who worry about their appearance that take it a little farther than simply a good diet and exercise, right? But how I plan to ascend is right now, my primary focus is lose weight. That's my primary focus. And obviously, that process may never come to an eventual end. It all depends on my determination and discipline and willpower, right? But I think I will get there eventually. It's just with my current living situation and all factors considered. Um, it may not happen, but as long as I minimize losses and don't really gain any more weight, I'm satisfied for the time being. It's when I get into housing that I really want to put the pedal down and really want to, devote myself to Looksmaxxing and trying to ascend. But like I said, my main priority is lose weight to ascend, and obviously to lose weight, I'm dieting, trying to eat mostly healthy food, which is also going to help my appearance rather than eating junk food and garbage, and also exercising regularly in the form of daily walking. Now, I don't walk every day. I was trying to for a while to do 2 hours a day, and I'm a lazy person by nature, so I haven't been doing 2 hours a day. As long as I get, 4 or 6 hours a week, I'm fine because that's still more than the recommended amount by Health Canada, right? Now, Health Canada obviously is not 100% accurate all the time, and you can tell that just by looking at the National Food Guide. They have ludicrous things on there like eating like 10 servings of grains a day, and if I ate 10 servings of grain a day and nothing else, I would be 400 pounds. So, you know, Health Canada suggests 2.5 hours of exercise per week to make it even better, double that to five. And I don't believe that's really accurate. The standard should be much higher than that, like 10 to 20 hours a week. And I confidently think most people could achieve that, right? Because people are not supposed to sit around doing nothing, playing games, playing with their phone, or watching TV. 100 years ago, the majority of people had a very active lifestyle because of their employment, right? And if you weren't employed, you were probably a homeless bum begging for change, right? Or living in somebody's barn doing chores for them in exchange for, um, 3 meals a day and a place to sleep in the barn, right? But that's more than 100 years ago. That was hundreds of years ago, but you get the idea. But aside from losing weight and doing really basic things like eating a healthy diet, exercising regularly, and obviously with the exercising regularly, outside walking, I will adopt a tan this time of year, which helps. So there's some immediate effects of what I'm doing to try to lose weight that is also improving my appearance right away. Like, you know, I have a better appearance to my skin because I'm not eating a high sodium, fatty, junk food diet, right? And I'm trying to keep a better eye on foods that have a higher macro content and micro content rather than just eating donuts and potato chips, right? Like today I had 1 kg, almost 1 kg of chicken, and I did not add anything to it except for some spices and one entire head of broccoli. It's not the perfect diet, right? There's obviously things lacking there, but I think that everything holds a little bit of truth, and even though I don't believe the extreme of eating a donut is the same as eating a steak, I think there is some truth to it because obviously a person can live for an extremely long time, maybe indefinitely, just eating donuts, right? Now, would that person be healthy? Probably not. But I think genetics plays a factor too because supposedly, so many hundreds of years ago, sailors on boats would die from scurvy, and it was later discovered it was because of a lack of vitamin C, because the vegetables would rot first, and they would just be left with the ingredients to make bread and also dried meat. So the sailors would start dying off, and obviously the more sensitive individuals would have died first, and some may have actually been okay and not have died at all. So it really depends on genetics and stuff like that, how keen your diet has to be, how keen your exercise or workout program has to be, all that stuff. I'm actually blessed in some ways because I naturally maintain a lean physique. But the thing is, when you take a sedentary individual who eats whatever they want, virtually anyone is going to become overweight. Virtually anyone. I just thank my lucky stars that I'm not like 400 pounds, right? I've known plenty of individuals who are 350, 400 pounds who had similar lifestyles to mine. Obviously, they did eat more than me because I've seen some of those people eat. and they would pack away a tremendous amount of food in one sitting, like 5,000 calories in just one meal. They would do things like buy an 18-inch pizza like Donnie Too Yucky and eat the whole thing in one sitting with 2 liters of Coke. And I would never in a million years dream of eating an 18-inch pizza with 2 liters of Coke in one sitting. And I don't think I could. Generally, if I ate 3 large slices of pizza, I'm doing really well for eating a lot. But I don't test my limits on how much I can eat, and I have not in a very long time. Generally, when I buy the food for a meal and eat the meal, um, I'm filled to satisfaction and don't really want any more food. I could probably force myself to eat a bit more, but I'm not doing that. That's for another video. Now back to Looksmaxxing. Um, my ultimate goals are get down to 140, and that's much easier said than done because I think I could dip below 200 without too much difficulty, and obviously from there it would get compoundingly more difficult to keep losing weight, and to get to 200 from 200 to 180 would be difficult, and it would be even more difficult to go from like 180 to 160. Very difficult. And I think 160 to 140 is going to be damn near impossible without extreme lifestyle and diet changes, right? And I think that's the case with virtually everyone. Now, when I was a younger man, 18 years old, just starting out in life, I weighed 105 pounds at 6 feet tall. Extremely thin, but I rarely ate. And I was accustomed to eating small quantities of food at a time. So, if I had a bag of Doritos, I would eat as much as I could, not even finish the bag, and may not even eat anything for the rest of the day, right? That's how, shrunken my stomach was from not eating my whole life up until being an adult. And, yeah. But, lose weight, and with that comes a tan, um, better appearance in my face from less sodium, and better quality food, better food choices, not so much junk food, and obviously too, losing some water retention from regular exercise, being the walking. Now, when I get closer to my goal, I haven't fully decided yet exactly what I'm going to do. Um, Part of me wants to go all the way with the weight loss and go down to 140 and then make some dramatic lifestyle changes. But part of me also just wants to go down to 160 and maintain weight. And either one I choose, 140, 160, I will then at that point decide to start weight training regularly. And I haven't fully decided on what kind of approach I would do. Because like I said, I'm a lazy person by nature. I don't know if I'd want to do a typical three day a week full body routine. Those are generally very demanding, very, very demanding. I've done those before, like with Mark Ripeto's Starting Strength, and they're a very vigorous routine to follow because you're always striving for more weight every session. And obviously, if you're not trying to gain a lot of weight really quickly, sticking to a full body routine hardcore 3 times a week, it's not doable, right? You will overtrain in a hurry. And it's hard to believe that training for 3 to 4 hours a week you can overtrain in a hurry, but if you've never tried squatting 3 times a week with the clear goal of always adding more weight every time you squat each session, you don't understand how quickly you can overtrain doing that. The other approach that I will likely do is shorter workouts that are like 45 minutes or even half an hour and 6 days a week, right? And I know some of you think, oh, you should give your body more days off than that to recover, which I think is total BS. I sit around, I do nothing, I sit at my computer most of the time playing games. I don't need rest and recovery, right? I don't need rest and recovery. And I actually felt that I rested and recovered better when I was working a full time job that was demanding, right? The body adapts. The body definitely adapts. But for me, I find generally a more minimalistic approach with, you know, very little training done regularly. I tend to respond a bit better. So I will likely do half an hour to an hour, um, 6 days a week, right? And with an emphasis on certain muscle groups being like chest and shoulders and biceps. And the reason why I choose chest, shoulders, and biceps is because the biceps are one of the fastest recovering muscles, right? And I would likely train biceps 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week. And I feel they could recover from that because it's not squatting. You're not using your entire lower body. You're literally using like 2% of the muscles in your body when you do a bicep curl. So doing bicep curls 3 times a week, it's not unthinkable. And I would likely train chest and shoulders twice a week, with one day being chest focused and another being shoulder focused. And the reason why I would emphasize chest and shoulders is because I want to fill out a t-shirt really well, and the chest and shoulders do that very well. Now you could say the back actually does it better, but my back is hyper respondent to training, and I can get away with training back once a week. If I train back just as much or more as other muscle groups, my back will overpower all my other muscle groups in terms of size and strength. So, training back once a week and having 2 lag days as well, one being a squat focused day and one being a deadlift focused day. And what I mean by deadlift and squat focused is one day it would be purely squats, one day would be purely deadlifts. And obviously, on some of those days, I would also be doing biceps as well. So, like a deadlift and curl day, or a squat and curl day. And the kind of volume I would be using is the most volume, of course, would be on chest and shoulders. And the least volume would probably be on the lower body because I don't care about it too much. But it's better than not training legs at all, right? But I would likely do 5 sets for squats, 3 sets for deadlift, and that would be it for the week. Whereas other muscle groups would be like chest day would be flat bench press and incline bench press. The other chest day would be flat bench press and overhead press, and a bunch of isolation work for shoulders. And the flat bench and incline bench press day, I would do isolation work for shoulders as well. So, and back day, of course, would just be, like 3 exercises. It'd be like pull ups, rows, and something else. And I haven't fully decided if I would start going to the gym to do my workouts rather than doing it at home. There are benefits from doing it at home, a lot more benefits probably than going to the gym. But with the gym, if you go there with a plan in mind, you will probably achieve your plan. Whereas at home, you have distractions. You have your phone there. You can think, oh, maybe I just won't work out today. I'll take the day off. Whereas when you're at the gym, if you say that, you still have to go change. You still have to go check out of the gym, right? So I don't think I've ever once, of my own accord, left the gym early during a workout, other than when I was ill. Whereas working out at home, there have been times I would cut a workout off early just because of the convenience of being able to do so because I was at home. But now I'm getting off topic, and I seem to do that a lot. But aside from the daily activity and proper diet, losing weight, and then start strength training when I get down to a desired body weight, um, I would also start adopting um, certain other things like a good skincare routine for my face. just daily exfoliation and moisturizer. Also caring for my beard better, using like beard oil, beard balm. Um, Also getting regular beard trims and haircuts probably every 2 weeks instead of once a month, because I do notice my beard gets quite raggedy after a month of not being trimmed by the barber or hairdresser, right? Um, Other things I would do, I would fashion max a bit. I would look into getting some nicer clothes. I might even look into seeing a tailor and having fitted clothing, because once I get down to a desired body weight and reach my desired body weight goal, whether that be 160, 170, 180, whatever, I would intend to stay at that body weight after training for so long and just try to improve my body composition over time. So, going to a tailor and having fitted clothing would be a good idea. Because obviously, if you go somewhere like Walmart and buy t shirts, they don't fit well if you're in shape, right? They're meant for people who are of a quote unquote normal body composition where they have like 20% body fat, right? You buy a t-shirt and if it quote unquote fits, it's going to be tight on the shoulders, chest and arms, and it's going to be like a dress flowing out behind you around your waist because you're going to have a small waist, right? And it's kind of the same deal with pants too. I'm probably going to have um, twink legs even after I've weight trained for quite a while. So I will have to have specially fitted pants, because I don't want to wear pants that are really baggy, because then it gives the appearance that your legs are thinner than they actually are, right? And wearing baggy clothes when you're in shape, just it doesn't work. It makes you look really, really thin. It makes you look sickly. It makes you people will start making rude comments about, oh, you must be anorexic when you're sitting at a 160 at 6 feet tall, right? Those are the kind of rude comments you get. You want to have your physique accentuated with good clothing that fits properly. And I wouldn't look into like really expensive clothing, like expensive name brands or anything like that. The emphasis would all be on having fitted clothing. Just, normal cotton t-shirts that are fitted by a tailor or whatever material they use. And that's likely would be quite expensive. I would imagine I'd probably be paying 50 or $100 for one t-shirt. I don't know what the cost is, but I'm just assuming. And obviously, having a full wardrobe like that and not planning to ever lose or gain any real weight, um, that wardrobe would last indefinitely. Now, the pants are probably the thing that would cost a lot, and I haven't looked into a tailor, so I'm just quoting random prices. But same deal with the pants. I would probably look into having fitted jeans that were semi skinny jeans, not full on skinny jeans, because I just think that makes a guy look like some faggot that has a ponytail who's severely underweight wears skinny jeans, right? It doesn't look right, right? I would look into semi skinny jeans where they have a little bit of give, right? Probably a bit of a boot cut, just because I think having them thin, having the pants fit tight around the lower leg looks really gay. Um, and obviously, when I wear pants, I don't want. I want the pants to cover up around the shoe and have a little bit of extra length, and not be perfectly fitted like skinny jeans. One moment. And what else would I do? Um, I have a good beard, so I would probably concentrate on growing the length out over time, which I have been doing. I don't know how long I potentially want the beard to go. Probably as long as possible, right down to mid stomach, maybe even. I don't know what the potential is for my beard growth, but I just know that it grows in really nice and thick. Now with the hair, that is my only big failure that I can't really do anything about. I tried hair loss meds, and they gave me some issues, so I had to discontinue use for them. So that also makes a hair transplant out of the question. Luckily, the hairdresser I seen the other day when I had my beard and hair trimmed, um, I was telling her, I'm thinking I should shave my head. I said, because I'm balding quite severely. And she's like, oh, no, not necessarily. And she actually trimmed my hair, took more off the sides than off the top, more off the sides and back than the top. And it actually looks decent. It's not too noticeable that I'm balding. The bigger failure is the receding hairline, which I've had since a teenager. Um, but, most of us have some kind of failure. Balding is a very big one, quite common, unfortunately. I haven't decided if being a manlet is worse than balding. Um, Balding at my height is probably worse than being a manlet. I'm not sure. Now, if I was like 6'4" and balding, that would probably be better than being a manlet. But I think being a manlet, like 5'7", would be slightly more advantageous than being my height and balding. But I'm getting off topic again because I will never be a manlet and I'll never have my hair back. So it's just a big pipe dream, right? But what else would I do? Obviously, I would attempt to take better care of myself. Probably shower regularly, like 3 times a week. Also use deodorant. I don't use deodorant now. I'm rot maxing, so give me shit all you want. I'm rotting. You gotta rot properly, right? You gotta stew in your own juices a little bit to properly rot. And a lot of us have been there. Some of you haven't, but a lot of us have been there, and you understand if I'm talking about you. Um, what else would I do? Probably look into some good footwear. Um, Nothing expensive, just somebody downstairs yelling. I'm not sure why, but I think that's all I really have to say about Looksmaxxing and how I plan to ascend. So, peace out. I'll see you guys online.